What's all this jazz? What's all this jazz? What's all this? Jazz? Yes. Hi, welcome to Discover on Netradio.Network. I'm Scott Combs. Here's how this thing works. It's pretty simple. I pick a list of songs and I build a Spotify playlist. Then I talk about them a little bit in the video and you go listen to them and see if you like them or not. It's really pretty much that simple. One thing I found out though, Max got a hold of me, one of my friends, and said, hey, if you don't have Spotify Premium, the list may come out of order. So that can be a little irritating. I apologize for that. There's not much I can do about it. I just don't want to have to pay all the licensing right now to take care of all of this. So Spotify it is, and it's functioning pretty well. Hopefully, we'll get to play some songs that you haven't heard before that you'll also like. That's really what I'm after. And today we've got, I think, 4 really cool songs and really cool artists that you may or may not have heard of. Let's just jump in and see where we're at, right? Let's talk about Eric Johnson first. Eric Johnson is a guitar player. And this particular song that I'm put on the list is called Manhattan. And at first it sounds like smooth jazz, which I don't particularly care for. But as you get into it, you discover how it's not smooth jazz. And Eric is a superlative player. I hope you enjoy that one very much. The next one is one that was that came to me through one of my sons, and this is really cool. If you're ever at a loss for dinner or conversation music, I want you to go grab Ernest Ranglin. Ernest Ranglin kind of fuses jazz and reggae. You hear a reggae rhythm section and reggae horns very often in his music. It is exceptionally well done, never gets in the way, and it's constantly interesting. So it's just beautiful music. I hope you like the track. The track is called Bond Street Blues, and it's off his Bless Up album. He has a number of them out, and you would do yourself a great service by checking out Ernest Ranglin. The next one is a Minnesota band. They're called The Bad Plus, and if you haven't heard of them, strap in and sit down and relax for a second. This jazz gets sort of out into left field a little bit, and you're going to have to forgive them for doing that. But the thing that really catches me about the Bad Plus is the covers they choose to do. They did a cover of a song from Dark Side of the Moon that was the first thing to capture me, and I went, these guys are really cool. What I put up today is Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House, as interpreted by the Bad Plus. Don't expect to hear anything you've heard before. Again, I think it's a very cool song. I hope you like it a lot. Next up, Dave Brubeck, Blue Rondo a la Turk. Everybody knows Take 5 if they know anything about Brubeck, but Blue Rondo is easily my second most favorite Brubeck tune ever. That whole album is just, it's worth sitting down and just shutting up and listening to. This is brilliant stuff, and they were exploring these new spaces. And Brubeck has always just captured my ears and my heart. He did a thing one time that I saw that was so fascinating. It was some sacred music that he had arranged. So he had this big choir, and he had a jazz band with his kids playing with him. It was gorgeous. I don't know how else to say it. I have a ton of respect for Dave Brubeck and all the people that worked with him. This is Blue Rondo a la Turk. If you don't like it, I'm really, really sorry, but I'll think less of you. You know, I'm kidding, of course, but this is a great tune. Finally, I wanted to do a special tune by Danny Gatton and Buddy Emmons. If you know the steel guitar world at all, you know that Buddy Emmons is the Eddie Van Halen of steel guitar. Danny Gatton is the Danny Gatton of guitar. He's another thing entirely. There's only been one other guitar player that was even close to being like him, and I don't think he really was the same thing Danny was. Danny was this incredible mixture of gut and knowledge, and he's an ear player, and you could never tell it. What's also really interesting is in most of these albums, most of the studio albums, they'd build up the tracks, and then they'd call Danny in and say, okay, we need you to come in and record this song. So he'd come in, and they'd start recording, and almost everything they took was his first pass at the song. And that's an entire pass. All the way through the song, he'd just play, and that'd be it. They'd have their take. Wildly unusual, very improvisational, a lot of emotion in it. And I hope you'll like this song. It's called Red Label. I couldn't get the Buddy Emmons tune with Danny Gatton because Spotify doesn't have it. Well, they have a version of it, but it's a really bad live version from 1977. I've got a live version from later on that sounds a lot better, but not available. So we're gonna stick with Red Label, and I hope you'll like that one enough to go investigate more Danny Gatton. That pretty much covers it. Eric Johnson, Ernest Ranglin, The Bad Plus, Dave Brubeck, and Danny Gatton. All that jazz.